Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Brother and sister in Islam, peace and blessings be upon you all. Today, I want to share with you something simple, yet life-changing, something that can bring us closer to Allah and fill our hearts with peace. Sometimes we think that pleasing Allah is only for the scholars, the very pious, or those who perform extraordinary acts of worship. But the truth is, pleasing Allah can be simple, practical, and within reach of every one of us, no matter our age, our background, or how busy our lives are. So today, I will guide you through 5 easy ways to please Allah. Small steps that can transform our daily routine into a source of immense reward and spiritual closeness. By the end of this talk, I promise you'll see that serving Allah isn't about difficulty or struggle. It's about sincerity, intention, and consistency. Prayer, or salah, is not just a ritual or a routine in our lives. It is the most powerful and personal connection we have with Allah. Many of us may think of it as something we do because we are told to, or as a duty to tick off our daily list. But it is so much more than that. Prayer is a conversation with the most merciful. It is a moment when the distractions of the world fade away and we are completely present before Allah. When we stand in prayer, our hearts speak, even if our lips struggle. Allah hears every whisper, every sigh, every word that comes from our sincerity. It is the one place where we do not have to prove anything, perform for anyone, or compete with anyone. In the presence of Allah, there is only sincerity, only truth, and only mercy. Consistency in prayer is key. Many of us struggle with being consistent. Perhaps we pray when we remember, when we feel spiritual, or when life seems difficult. But Allah loves regularity, even if our actions are small. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if small." This teaches us that what matters is not the grandeur of our act, but the commitment behind it. Praying regularly, 5 times a day, creates a rhythm in our lives, a heartbeat that reminds us of our purpose, our faith, and our connection to the divine. When we prioritize salah, even in the midst of busyness, we remind ourselves that Allah comes first, not our desires, not our worries, not our distractions. Each prayer is a chance to start anew, a chance to wipe away mistakes, and a chance to seek guidance. In every rak'ah, there is a story of humility, surrender, and hope. When we bow and say, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, we acknowledge that Allah is greater than our fears, our struggles, and our doubts. When we prostrate and place our forehead on the ground, we express our ultimate submission, showing that we recognize His greatness above all. It is in these moments that hearts are purified, burdens feel lighter, and the soul finds a sense of peace that the world cannot give. Connecting with Allah through prayer also strengthens our character. When we commit to praying on time, we cultivate discipline. We learn patience, self-control, and awareness. We are reminded that life is not only about chasing instant gratification, but about fulfilling responsibilities, honoring promises, and caring for our souls. Prayer teaches us to be mindful of our actions, to seek forgiveness, and to continuously strive to improve ourselves. When we pray with understanding and reflection, it becomes a transformative experience. It is not just a habit, it becomes a lifestyle that shapes the way we think, feel, and interact with others. Another important aspect of salah is presence of heart. It is easy to pray mechanically, to recite words without thought, to move through the motions because we are used to them. But the true beauty of prayer is in feeling, in connecting deeply, in being completely aware that we are standing before Allah. Every phrase we say, every verse we recite, is an opportunity to build a relationship with Him. We ask for guidance, we seek forgiveness, we express gratitude, and we share our fears and hopes. Prayer is a personal refuge, a place where we are never judged, never ignored, and always accepted. Consistency also protects us from forgetting our purpose in life. In the chaos of school, social life, and personal challenges, it is easy to lose sight of what really matters. Regular prayer anchors us. It reminds us that our lives are not merely about temporary success or worldly achievements, but about striving to earn Allah's pleasure. Each prayer is a checkpoint, a moment to pause and reflect. Am I living in a way that pleases Allah? Are my intentions aligned with His guidance? Am I using my time, energy, and talents for what truly matters? Prayer also builds hope. When we face difficulties, it is natural to feel overwhelmed, confused, or hopeless. Salah becomes a source of strength. It is a reminder that we are never alone, that Allah is always near, and that relief comes through patience, trust, and sincere supplication. Even the smallest prayer, whispered from the heart, can lift the heaviest burdens. Every day, 5 times, we have this divine opportunity to reconnect, recharge, and reorient ourselves toward what is meaningful. For teenagers and young people especially, consistency in prayer shapes the foundation of a strong, resilient, and spiritually grounded life. It helps us navigate the pressures of school, friendships, social media, and personal challenges. It teaches us values, builds character, and provides comfort. While it may feel difficult at times, the reward is immense, not only in this life, but in the life to come. Small steps taken daily with sincerity grow into habits that define who we are and the life we live. Remembering Allah or engaging in dhikr is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to strengthen our connection with our Creator. It is not something that requires special places, long hours, or extraordinary effort. Dhikr can be done anywhere, while walking to school, sitting in a quiet corner before sleeping, or even during small daily chores. Yet, despite its simplicity, many of us underestimate its power. We think that serving Allah only happens through big actions, like lengthy prayers or charity. But Dhikr teaches us that our hearts can remain close to Allah at all times, even when our bodies are busy with the demands of life. Dhikr is more than repeating words. It is the language of the heart. It is a way of bringing Allah's presence into every moment, of keeping our hearts awake and conscious of His greatness. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Shall I not tell you of something which is better than prayer, fasting, and charity?" He mentioned dhikr, showing us that simple remembrance carries immense weight in the eyes of Allah. Each Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, or Allahu Akbar is a spark that lights up the soul, a moment of connection that cannot be measured by time alone. It is as if each word carries a piece of our sincerity directly to Allah, who knows the hidden intentions of every heart. Making dhikr a daily habit is about consistency, not perfection. Many of us feel discouraged when our minds wander or when we forget. We worry that if we do not recite long or complicated phrases, it is meaningless. But the truth is, Allah values what is sincere more than what is lengthy. A few heartfelt words, repeated with awareness, can transform our hearts in ways we cannot imagine. The habit of remembering Allah turns our day into a journey filled with spirituality. It allows us to pause, breathe, and reconnect with what truly matters, reminding us that we are never alone in our struggles or our joys. Dhikr also cultivates mindfulness. In a world full of distractions, schoolwork, social media, friends, and responsibilities, it is easy to forget Allah. But when we make dhikr a part of our routine, our hearts remain anchored. We learn to see the world through the lens of faith, noticing the blessings that surround us, feeling gratitude for the smallest things, and recognizing Allah's guidance in every situation. It trains us to respond with patience, humility, and love, rather than reacting with anger, frustration, or negativity. Every moment of remembrance is like a shield, protecting our hearts from despair and guiding us toward peace. Another beautiful aspect of dhikr is its effect on our emotions and inner state. Life can feel overwhelming at times. Stress, anxiety, and sadness can weigh heavily on our hearts. But engaging in IKR is like breathing life into our souls. Each phrase is a reminder of Allah's mercy, power, and presence. It reassures us that difficulties are temporary, that help is near, and that Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding. When we feel small, weak, or uncertain, dhikr reminds us of the one who is all-powerful, all-knowing, and always near. It transforms fear into hope, worry into trust, and sadness into peace. Dhikr also strengthens our character and influences our actions. When our hearts are constantly remembering Allah, we naturally become more conscious of our behavior. We avoid harmful words, actions, and thoughts because we are aware that Allah is observing. Our patience increases, our kindness grows, and our interactions with others improve. It reminds us that faith is not only about rituals, but about living a life that reflects the values Allah loves: honesty, compassion, humility, and gratitude. Even when no one is watching, Dhikr keeps us accountable, reminding us that our ultimate purpose is to seek Allah's pleasure. For young people especially, Dhikr can be a source of constant motivation and guidance. Teenagers face pressures from school, friends, social media, and society. It is easy to feel lost, overwhelmed, or disconnected. But when Dhikr becomes a daily habit, it becomes a source of strength and clarity. It transforms ordinary moments into spiritual opportunities, helps us make better decisions, and keeps us grounded in our faith. Every La ilaha illallah or astaghfirullah repeated with sincerity carries immense reward and builds a spiritual resilience that no test or challenge can shake. Finally, Dhikr is not just about personal benefit. It creates a ripple effect in the world around us. A heart connected to Allah spreads peace, kindness, and patience to others. People notice calmness, positivity, and wisdom in those who remember Allah consistently. Dhikr shapes our inner world, which then shapes our outer world. It is an ongoing source of guidance, comfort, and light that continues to influence us and those around us as long as we keep it alive in our hearts. Kindness is one of the easiest yet most powerful ways to please Allah. Many people think that doing something big or extraordinary is what makes a person righteous, but the Prophet Muhammad reminded us that even small acts of goodness carry immense reward. A smile, a helping hand, a kind word, or even removing something harmful from someone's path. All of these are considered charity in Islam. They may seem simple, ordinary, or even insignificant to us, but in the eyes of Allah, every act done sincerely for His sake is precious and valuable. It is often through these small actions that hearts are touched, communities are strengthened, and faith is made real in our daily lives. Showing kindness is not limited to family or friends. It extends to strangers, neighbors, the poor, animals, and even the environment. Every interaction is an opportunity to demonstrate compassion. When we hold the door for someone, help a classmate with their homework, or comfort someone who is sad, we are fulfilling a command from Allah to be merciful and considerate. These actions create ripples that can go far beyond what we see. The Prophet said that a believer is the one from whose hands and tongue people are safe, reminding us that kindness and non-harm are essential qualities of faith. Consistency in doing small acts of kindness is important. Many people think, I am just one person, what can I really do? But Allah values consistency and sincerity over quantity. One kind word every day, one small act performed regularly, can be more valuable than a single grand gesture done once. It is in the routine of goodness that our character is built and our hearts are purified. Each act of kindness trains us to notice others' needs, to think beyond ourselves, and to live with empathy. Over time, this shapes a personality that naturally seeks to serve, to give, and to care. Kindness is also a reflection of our gratitude to Allah. When we are grateful for the blessings we have, our health, our family, our education, we express that gratitude not only in words but in action. Helping others, sharing what we have, or simply being patient and gentle in our interactions demonstrates that we do not take Allah's gifts for granted. Gratitude turns ordinary actions into acts of worship. When we do good with the intention of pleasing Allah, every smile, every word of encouragement, and every helpful gesture becomes a source of reward. Another dimension of kindness is its effect on our own hearts. When we act with compassion, we experience inner peace, joy, and satisfaction. It creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment that material success alone cannot give. On the other hand, when we are selfish, harsh, or neglectful of others, our hearts feel heavy, restless, and disconnected. By practicing kindness, we purify not only our actions but our hearts, shaping a character that reflects the mercy and generosity of Allah. It is a form of worship that benefits both the giver and the receiver. Kindness also teaches patience and humility. Sometimes helping others requires effort, sacrifice, or overcoming our own discomfort. We might need to control our temper, suppress our ego, or make time for someone when it is inconvenient. These challenges, however small, refine our character. They remind us that pleasing Allah is not always easy, but it is always rewarding. Even small deeds, when done with the right intention, demonstrate a heart that values righteousness over convenience, service over selfishness, and mercy over pride. For young people, especially, early teenagers, practicing kindness can be transformative. Our generation faces pressures from social media, peer expectations, school stress, and personal struggles. Kindness can be a source of light in these challenges. It teaches us to lift others instead of tearing them down, to choose empathy over judgment, and to use our energy in ways that bring benefit to people and pleasure to Allah. Even small actions in school, at home, or online, like encouraging a friend, helping someone in need, or speaking respectfully, can have a lasting impact, both spiritually and socially. Finally, kindness builds a community. When we act with compassion, we inspire others to do the same. Good deeds spread like ripples in water, touching lives in ways we may never fully see. A single act can inspire someone to continue a chain of goodness, creating an environment of support, love, and cooperation. The Prophet said that Allah loves those who are merciful, and those who are merciful will be shown mercy in return. By practicing kindness consistently, we create a cycle of mercy that strengthens families, schools, neighborhoods, and even nations. Seeking knowledge is one of the most powerful ways to please Allah. Yet it is often misunderstood as something reserved only for scholars or those who dedicate their entire lives to study. In reality, seeking knowledge is a responsibility for every Muslim, young and old, because knowledge shapes our understanding, guides our actions, and strengthens our connection with Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim," emphasizing that it is not a luxury, but a necessity. Knowledge allows us to distinguish right from wrong, to live in a way that earns Allah's pleasure, and to use our abilities and time in the most beneficial ways. Knowledge begins with curiosity and sincerity. Every question we ask, every effort we make to understand our religion, and every attempt to improve ourselves is a step toward Allah. It is not just about memorizing facts or reading long books. It is about internalizing lessons, applying guidance in our daily lives, and transforming information into action. When we seek knowledge with sincerity, we are not doing it for pride, to impress others, or to show off our intelligence. We are doing it to understand our purpose, to live rightly, and to become the best version of ourselves according to Allah's will. Acting on the knowledge we acquire is as important as acquiring it. It is not enough to know what pleases Allah. We must implement it in our daily life. Knowledge without action is like a lamp that never lights up a dark room. It has potential but does not fulfill its purpose. For example, learning about the importance of prayer, gratitude, or kindness is valuable, but unless we actually pray consistently, express gratitude, or show compassion, then knowledge remains incomplete. Allah rewards both the pursuit of knowledge and its application, but the combination of the two magnifies its impact, both in this world and the hereafter. Seeking knowledge also strengthens our faith. When we understand the wisdom behind Allah's commands, we are less likely to struggle with obedience. Knowledge removes confusion, dispels doubts, and provides clarity in a world full of distractions and misinformation. It equips us with the tools to face challenges confidently, make wise decisions, and stand firm in our beliefs. For teenagers, this is particularly important because the pressures of school, social media, and peer influence can easily lead us away from what is right. Knowledge acts as a compass, guiding us toward actions that are pleasing to Allah, protecting us from mistakes and helping us build a strong, resilient character. Another important aspect of seeking knowledge is humility. True knowledge teaches us how little we actually know and reminds us that our understanding is limited compared to Allah's infinite wisdom. This humility fosters gratitude and a constant desire to learn more, to improve, and to serve others. When we approach knowledge with humility, we are more likely to listen, reflect, and apply what we learn instead of acting arrogantly or dismissively. The Prophet demonstrated this beautifully. Despite his unparalleled wisdom, he continued to encourage learning, asking questions, and teaching others throughout his life. Knowledge also empowers us to contribute positively to our communities. When we learn, we gain the ability to guide, help, and inspire others. Sharing beneficial knowledge, giving sincere advice, or teaching others small but meaningful lessons are acts of worship when done with the intention of pleasing Allah. Even a simple explanation of a good deed, a reminder of prayer or guidance in character can ripple outward, influencing many lives. Every time we share what we have learned with sincerity, we multiply the reward of our effort and strengthen the bonds of faith and goodness in our surroundings. For young people, seeking knowledge goes beyond religious studies. It includes learning life skills, understanding the world, developing emotional intelligence, and cultivating talents that can benefit others. Knowledge in every form can be a means of worship if used responsibly and with the right intention. Learning to manage time wisely, communicate kindly, help someone in need, or even study diligently in school are all ways to use knowledge as a tool to please Allah. It is a holistic approach that balances spiritual growth, personal development, and practical life skills. Finally, seeking knowledge nurtures hope, purpose, and direction. When we understand our responsibilities or potential and the guidance Allah has provided, we gain clarity about our path in life. Knowledge motivates us to act, inspires us to be better, and empowers us to face challenges with confidence and patience. It transforms uncertainty into understanding, fear into trust, and ignorance into wisdom. By pursuing knowledge with sincerity and applying it in our lives, we continuously grow closer to Allah, strengthen our faith, and build a foundation for a life that is meaningful, purposeful, and rewarding. Gratitude is one of the simplest, most profound ways to please Allah, yet it is often overlooked in our daily lives. It is easy to take for granted the blessings we see every day, the food we eat, the roof over our heads, the warmth of our family, the friends who care for us, and even our ability to walk, see, and breathe. When we pause and reflect on all that Allah has given us, our hearts naturally fill with appreciation. Gratitude is not just about saying Alhamdulillah occasionally. It is a way of living, a mindset that sees every moment and every blessing as a gift from Allah. Being grateful helps us recognize the purpose and value of everything we have. Often we focus on what we do not have, comparing ourselves to others, or worrying about what might be missing in our lives. But gratitude shifts our perspective. It allows us to see the countless blessings that surround us, to appreciate the simplest things, and to acknowledge Allah's mercy in both big and small ways. The Prophet Muhammad said, "He who does not thank people does not thank Allah." This teaches us that gratitude is not just internal, it is also reflected in our actions, our words, and how we treat others. When we express thanks to people, we are acknowledging that Allah is working through them, reminding us that every good comes from Him. Gratitude also deepens our connection with Allah. When we consciously appreciate His blessings, we remember Him more often, and our hearts become softer, more aware, and more humble. It transforms ordinary actions into acts of worship. Eating, drinking, studying, or spending time with family can all become ways to show thankfulness when we recognize them as gifts from Allah. Each act of appreciation, spoken or felt in the heart, strengthens our relationship with our Creator and reminds us that nothing we have is truly ours, but all comes from His generosity. Being grateful is also a source of contentment. Life can be full of challenges, disappointments, and comparisons. Social media, school pressures, and personal struggles can make us feel dissatisfied or frustrated. Gratitude reminds us to pause and reflect on what is already present in our lives. It reduces feelings of envy, impatience, and unhappiness. When we focus on the blessings we have, we become more at peace, more patient, and more capable of handling difficulties. Gratitude teaches us that joy is not about having everything we want, but about appreciating what we already have and using it in ways that please Allah. Another beautiful aspect of gratitude is its effect on resilience. Challenges are part of life, and we all face moments of sadness, failure, or uncertainty. In these moments, gratitude can be a source of strength by recognizing that even in difficulty, Allah has given us something to hold on to. Whether it's family support, health, or the opportunity to learn, we find hope and courage. Gratitude transforms our mindset, helping us see trials not only as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth, patience, and closeness to Allah. It reminds us that every difficulty carries a lesson, and that Allah's wisdom is beyond what we can understand. Gratitude is also reflected in our behavior toward others. When we are grateful, we are more likely to treat people kindly, share our blessings, and be generous. It creates a positive cycle. The more we recognize Allah's blessings, the more we act with care, mercy, and empathy. A thankful heart leads to good manners, respect, and service to others. Even simple expressions like saying thank you or helping someone in need are acts that reflect our appreciation for Allah's generosity and bring reward to our lives. For young people, practicing gratitude can be life-changing. Teenagers often feel pressure to achieve, compare themselves with peers, or focus on what they lack. Gratitude trains the mind to see the bigger picture, to recognize Allah's mercy in everyday life, and to focus on personal growth rather than comparison. It teaches patience, humility, and mindfulness. When we consciously thank Allah for our family, friends, education, and health, we develop a positive mindset that empowers us to face challenges with confidence, work hard without arrogance, and live with purpose. Gratitude also multiplies blessings. The Prophet Muhammad said, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor." This shows that appreciation is not passive, it is active. When we acknowledge Allah's favors, we attract more goodness into our lives, not because of luck, but because gratitude opens our hearts to recognize opportunities, make wise choices, and use blessings responsibly. A grateful heart notices the small miracles, values relationships, and cherishes experiences that might otherwise be overlooked. Finally, gratitude is a form of worship that anyone can practice at any time. It does not require special skills, money, or status. It begins in the heart and is expressed through words, actions, and perspective. It can transform ordinary routines into meaningful acts of devotion. Every day presents countless opportunities to be grateful. Through prayer, reflection, helping others, or simply acknowledging the gifts we often take for granted. By making gratitude a habit, we live a life full of awareness, humility, and closeness to Allah, creating a mindset that constantly seeks to please Him in all that we do.